Each kidney, it is made up of several functional and structural units which are called as nephrons, and they are also called as the uriniferous tubules. This is very important question. So there are two tube-like structures which directly arise from the kidney and they end with the cloaca. Urinary bladder is the region where all the urine that is stored, and whenever it gets filled, it is passed out through the cloacal aperture. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to this session on first PUC Biology. I am Dr. Divya, Biology faculty, Vidhyaashram Pre-University College, Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. So in this session, let us learn about the excretory system in frogs under chapter 7, that is structural organization in animals, and then move on to learning about some of the MCQs under this particular topic. So to begin with, what is the excretory system? So the excretory system is that organs of the frog which participate in the process of eliminating the waste materials from the frog's body. During the process of elimination of the waste materials, a lot of organs are involved. What are those? So they are made up of pair of kidneys, that is 2 kidneys, then ureters which is connected to the kidney, then the ureter connected to the cloaca, and then the urinary bladder. So here first talking about the kidney. So how does the kidney exactly look, or what is the structure of the kidney? So the kidney are compact, they are very small compact structures and they look like a bean. Therefore they are dark red and bean-like structures, and they are situated posteriorly in the thorax or the trunk of the frog. So if you can see here, they are 2 structures, 2 kidneys or a pair of kidney. They are bean shaped, exactly like a bean seed almost they look. So they are bean shaped and they are dark brown to red in color. And as you can see here, they have the ureter. So the kidney is connected to the ureter and then it passes into the cloaca, which is then connected to the urinary bladder, and through the cloacal aperture the waste material comes out. And where is the kidney exactly situated? They are situated on the posterior, so that is at the top part on either side of the frog's vertebral column they are situated. And each kidney, it is made up of several functional and structural units which are called as nephrons, and they are also called as the uriniferous tubules. This is very important question. So the kidney has several structural and functional units which help in filtration of the waste material or filtration of the urine, and that is nothing but called as uriniferous tubules or nephrons. Don't get confused with excretion of the solid waste with that of the urine. Here we are talking about the excretory system, wherein for urine to come out, what pathway is involved, wherein kidney is there and the ureter is there, then the cloaca is there and the urinary bladder is there. But when it comes to digestion, that is the food material, solid waste actually comes out through the rectum, then to the cloaca, and then through the cloacal aperture. For solid waste, kidneys are not involved. So don't get confused there. So this is about the structure. Next, talking about, that is the structure of the kidney. So they are bean shaped and red in color, all that we have seen. Next, talking about a tube-like structure that is connected to the kidney, which is called as the ureters. So 2 ureters emerge from the kidneys in the male frog as well as the female frog. So can you see here, this is one tube-like structure and this is the second one. So from where does it come exactly? From the kidney directly into the cloaca. They are connected to the cloaca. So there are 2 tube-like structures which directly arise from the kidney and they end with the cloaca. So these ureters, they have one more particular function in the case of male frog. So here both the male and the female frog, they have the kidneys to which the ureters are connected. But it is in the male frog that the ureter that is there, it functions as a urinary tract, wherein it allows the passage of urine into the cloaca, and it also performs one more function wherein it carries the sperm to the cloaca. So that is why it is called as the urinogenital tract. It functions like a genital and it functions like a urinary tract as well. So therefore, it is called as urinogenital duct or urinogenital tube or urinogenital tract. And in females, the ureter's function is only to pass the urine from the kidney to the cloaca. It doesn't carry the ova or the egg, wherein the ova or the egg is carried by other tube-like structure which is called as the oviduct. So this is one of the major difference which you have to remember, because in the exam they will ask about it. Differentiate between the ureter of the male and the female frog. So the male frog, the ureter is called as the urinogenital duct. Why? Because it performs the function of carrying the urine from the kidney to the cloaca and also carrying the sperm from the testes to the Bider's canal, that will study in reproductive system of frog in detail, and then from there into the ureters. It also carries the sperm. So that is why it is called urinogenital duct. And in females, it doesn't happen that way. Only the urine is carried by the ureter into the cloaca, from the kidney to the cloaca. But the ova or the egg is carried by separate tube-like structures called oviduct. And next, talking about the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder is the region where all the urine that is stored, and whenever it gets filled, it is passed out through the cloacal aperture. So don't get confused. From the kidney, there are multiple structural units that are present in the kidney, which are called as nephrons. And these nephrons, they actually filter the urine. And those urine, concentrated urine that is there, it passes through the ureter, that is the tube-like structures. It enters into the cloaca. From the cloaca, it gets stored into the urinary bladder. From the urinary bladder, it goes into, whenever it gets full, it moves into the cloacal aperture and it then comes out. So that is how it works. So urinary bladder is thin-walled and it is present ventral to the rectum. So if you can see here, urinary bladder, this is the structure, it is present ventral to the rectum, that is on lower side of the rectum. It is present on lower side of the rectum, and the urinary bladder also opens into the cloaca and then into the cloacal aperture. And the frog usually excretes urea, and thus it is a ureotelic animal. This is important for one word question. The frogs are ureotelic animals because they excrete their waste in the form of urea. And excretory waste are carried by the blood into the kidney, where it is separated and excreted. So it gets filtered, separation takes place with the help of the nephrons and all that is there, excretory units, and then it gets passed to the ureter and then into the cloaca and then into the urinary bladder and then into the cloaca and then comes out through the cloacal aperture. So this is how the entire excretory process occurs in a frog. So now let's learn some of the MCQs that can be framed in exam point of view under this particular topic. So the first one, in frogs, dash functions as an urinogenital tract. Is it the urethra, ureter, urinary bladder, vasa efferentia? So it is the ureter because the ureter is connected to the kidney as well as to the testis through the Bider's canal. So therefore it is capable of transporting the sperms as well as the urine. So the right answer here is B, ureter. Whereas urinary bladder, it is the collection center for the urine. Whereas vasa efferentia, they are finger-like projections that comes out of the testis. So that is different. So therefore the right answer here is B, ureter. Next question. Animals which excrete urea are called uricotelic, ureotelic, emenotelic, ureatelic. The answer is ureotelic. So, animals which excrete urea are called ureotelic. Next question. Dash is the functional unit of frogs' kidneys. Uriniferous tubules, nephrons, nephridia, both A and B. Nephridia, actually in earthworms and all that, or leech, that is in annelids, the kidney, it is nephridia. They are called as nephridia. It is between nephrons and uriniferous tubules. Nephrons and uriniferous tubules are both one and the same, because nephrons and uriniferous tubules means one and the same. So that is why. So therefore the right answer here is both A and B, option D, because nephrons or uriniferous tubules is the functional unit of frog's kidney. Next question. In male frogs, ureter transfers. What does it transfer? Urine, sperms, ova, both A and B. So here I am talking about a male frog. So a male frog has nothing to do with the ova, which is also called as the egg, because it is the female frog that actually produces the ova or the egg. So therefore this option we can eliminate. Now between urine and sperms, we know that in male frogs the ureter is also called as the urinogenital duct, right? Why? Because it is capable of carrying both the sperms and the urine. So therefore the answer here is both A and B. Both A and B. Next question. Excretory waste in frogs exist through, that is cloaca, cloacal pore, anus, rectum. Here anus is found in humans. It has nothing to do with the frog. It is between cloaca, cloacal pore and rectum. So here the excretory waste in frogs exist through. Don't get confused with cloaca, cloacal pore and rectum, because all the excretory waste will go to the cloaca and to the rectum only, but where it will exist, that where it will exit, that is where it will come out. So from where it will come out, that we have to see. So it comes out through the cloacal pore. So that is option B is the right answer here. Next question. Which of these doesn't belong to the frog's excretory system? Cloaca, ureter, urinary bladder, anus. So which of these doesn't belong to the frog's excretory system? So cloaca belongs to the frog's excretory system. Ureter also, because the kidney has two tube-like structures called as ureter, which is connected to the cloaca, and that is connected to the urinary bladder. So anus has nothing to do because frogs do not have anus. So option D is the correct answer here. Next question. Which of these is not a function of cloacal chamber in frogs? Which of these is not a function of cloacal chamber? Excreting, spermiation, urination, ovulation. It is ovulation. So here it is spermiation, because they do not produce sperms. The production of sperm is called as spermiation, which is done by the testis. So therefore spermiation is not a function of the cloacal chamber. Of course it carries the sperms to the that is cloaca, but it doesn't spermiate, it doesn't produce sperm. So therefore option B is the right answer here. Next question. Urinary bladder is present dash to the rectum and opens to the dash. It is urinary bladder, where it is. Is it present dorsal or ventral? We shall see. So dorsal means upper part, ventral means lower part. So remember the diagram of the excretory system in frog. Was urinary bladder present at the top or at the down? At the down, right? So therefore it should be ventral. So wherever ventral is there, we have to select. So D also there is ventral. I'll just put a dot here. B also there is ventral. Now we have to check between ureter and cloaca. What is the second half of the question there? Urinary bladder is present ventral to the rectum and opens to the dash. Where does it open to? Does it open to the ureter or to the cloaca? These two we have eliminated because urinary bladder is not present on the dorsal side. So I'm talking about option B and option D. Is it ureter? No, the rectum and opens to the ureter. No, the ureter actually opens to the cloaca and the urinary bladder actually opens to the cloaca and not the ureter. So therefore, ventral and cloaca, option D is the right answer here. So because again to brush up, I'll just tell you, from the kidney to the ureter, from the ureter to the cloaca, then to the urinary bladder, which is present on the ventral side of the cloaca, and it opens into the cloaca and then through the cloacal aperture. So right answer is option D, ventral cloaca. Next question. Dash is the structural and functional unit of kidneys. Urinary bladder, nephron, ureter, cloaca, or the option can be given as uriniferous tubules also, because both are one and the same. So the answer here is option B, nephron. Urinary bladder, it is the collection unit for urine. Ureter, it carries the unit as well as the sperm in the case of male frog. Cloaca, it is all these structures, that is the urinary bladder, ureter, all that ends up with the cloaca and then the cloacal aperture. Here the question is dash is the structural and functional unit of the kidney. It is uriniferous tubules or nephron, option B. So this was about the session wherein we learnt about the excretory system in frogs and also got to know some of the MCQs under this particular topic. So I hope you understood the session well. We shall meet again in the coming session, taking up a new topic and discussing the MCQs under it. So see you in the next session. Thank you.